What's up, guys? Welcome back to my podcast. I think this is episode 5 now. We're getting up there, man. But in today's episode, we're going to be discussing the reading this week, which was Dave Velasco. And this reading kind of focuses more on a civil rights topic. We are right now living in a period where it's very tense. There's a lot of hate going on right now, so this was a very hard-hitting piece to read, for sure. Let's get right into it. There was a statue of the creator of the Ku Klux Klan, and it just didn't sit right with the community that it was still allowed to be there, and it wasn't just a symbol of this person and his connection to the state of Tennessee, or it wasn't because he was a prominent general in the Civil War. The rhetoric behind the statue is why it matters. That statue represented hate. It represented everything that has to go along with the Ku Klux Klan, which is just bad, evil, racist ideologies. The group, Take 'em Down 901, took advantage of this when they were fighting to get the statue taken down. It went through a couple times, and they couldn't do it because of state laws saying that since it was on public property, they couldn't touch it because it was historic. They used that. Instead of letting that get to them, they sort of flipped the script and made it known of how it felt to be a black Southern American having to see that statue and what it means every single day. The group went on to have many protests and rallies that were peaceful. Some were a little bit more rowdy than others, but the meaning that they were trying to protest was that some of their ancestors and some of their grandparents weren't even allowed to walk in that same park 50 years ago, 60 years ago, because of the ideologies that men like him put into the heads of everybody else. For that rhetoric to be allowed to continue in today's day and age is as much of a reason for that statue to be torn down as their protests. And, she says in testimony, "I'm a Southerner. I am a Tennessean. My ancestors were enslaved in this county." She echoed the voices and the thoughts of every other black Southerner in Memphis. Not only did Miss Sawyer use her rhetoric to, grab the hearts of black Southerners and Southerners who, were sympathetic of that cause, but she was able to relate it to so many other different people in like LGBTQ and disabled people, all this other sort of stuff. These people know how it feels to be discriminated against, and she came out and she spoke for them. The main point of their movement was to rebuild this Southern identity that has been for years whitewashed and forgotten. And she, through her voice and through her movement, and she just allowed people to open their minds and realize for a second that just because you're gay, that doesn't mean you're not a Southerner. Just because you're Muslim, that doesn't mean you're not from the South. Just because you're Jew doesn't mean you can't live in Alabama. Like, the South itself has a very deep and complex history. Yeah, there might be some bad things in there, but Sawyer wanted us all to know and to go forward in the future knowing that we are all together and we should all fight for this future that is completely apart from hate and bigotry and racism. It's more about the meaning behind getting rid of these statues. It's not just a statue. It's a symbolic representation of hate and long, long time of struggle for certain groups of people who didn't get the right to tell their story. And man, this was a great article. I really recommend that y'all go read it. Take 'Em Down 901 sounds dope as fuck. I would love to see more of this. I would love to see more Confederate statues being torn down. But at the end of the day, it's the rhetoric that matters. And I think that if we continue to help push Sawyer's rhetoric, which was the proper Southern identity, one Southern identity, that we're all one, we're all together, then we can push for a better future.